They'll be calling you erratic. We got to stay with this. This is historic and important. Now, remember Caroline Kennedy when she arrived in Japan, and it was reported widely all over the irony of all this. It was on the 50th anniversary of her father's assassination. The funeral, she had her son with him. Now, he never made any appearances. Now, this is 2013. This is, all those years later, almost 9 years later. He released pictures yesterday, him and ABE together. Now, remember, Caroline toured the plant. But remember, he was with her. And they made a statement on the 50th anniversary of this day. When he gave that salute, his uncle did. So, the assassination of ABE and John Kennedy, I'm telling you, there are so many correlations. Will we ever know the truth of either one of them? Remember, we will all know by 2013. That's when she was in it. Remember? That was the Warren Commission. The deal was, after 50 years, 2013, Caroline, the ironies of her unbelievable. You cannot make it up. Caroline's in Fukushima, Japan. She's the ambassador. She got caught on a hot mic going off on Obama about the cover. Remember, her father, fierce anti-nuclear. Now, be fierce pro-nuclear. The ironies are incredible. Absolutely unbelievable. He releases some photos on his 23rd birthday saying the only people at my 23rd birthday were my mom and ABE. It's an incredible story. You go back to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. John Kennedy, in July of 1963. Remember, he gave that incredible speech talking about people just like me. Rachel Carson. When he banned and blocked the open-air tests in Nevada. Of course, Obama restarted them in 2012, right after his second election. And Trump went in earnest with them. They're popping them off all over there, and at Idaho. Underground, whatever. When he banned it, everybody freaked out on him. And he talked about it giving children leukemia and people leukemia. This story is so incredible. The lack of security around John Kennedy, one of the most controversial leaders on the face of the earth. The lack of security around ABE, one of the most controversial figures on the face. You go to the rest of the world, they're not all in on the Fukushima cover-up. Go to the rest of the world and talk to them about it. You know about his grandfather and the Chinese situation. The pseudo-de facto cities over there. You're talking one of the most controversial leaders, historical leaders in the modern world. Well, JFK blown away. What else do I have to say? ABE. How is this even possible? So, his grandson releases these photos yesterday, he and ABE together. Remember, Caroline was the ambassador. Rahm Emanuel is now. Of course, he was in the Situation Room when they orchestrated the cover-up. Obama, John Holdren, Gregory Jacko. Remember him? Allison McFarland's in the news again. The only one that ever spoke to Allison McFarland in a public forum and confronted her about the cover-up of Fukushima is Kevin Blanch. But she's going off on these SMRs, saying, no. And so her and Jose Reyes, there's a fight going in the pork factory, the nuclear pork factory, the free money factory, firstborn unicorn. These little nuclears, can you just think about the billions and trillions and gazillions that nuclear is sucked out? That's called opportunity cost. It could have been put into real solutions for the energy complex. Who's the problem? The Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate, the Department of Energy. So, the ironies you cannot make up. On the 50th anniversary of JFK's funeral, his grandson, who looks just like him, was in Fukushima, Japan, with his mother. Caroline. Caroline knows all about the cover-up of Fukushima. Will she ever talk? Will ABE ever talk? Well, nobody, maybe Lake Barrett, will he ever talk? Will any of them ever talk? How can they after all these years? Kevin Blanch was the only one really talking from the beginning. And look what they've done to me. Way past blackballing. I'll be in California documenting the tide pools tomorrow. Or Tuesday. I'll get in the tide pools on Tuesday. I won't get there early enough to get there tomorrow. Doing all the dirty work. Everybody's in Fukushima denial. Don't say it blows my mind. I'm looking all over. Well, somebody's got to be reporting that, Caroline and her son were with ABE at Fukushima on the 50th anniversary because the JFK assassination, Martin Luther King, Bobby, and ABE I can't remember a Western. Well, he's, Eastern, but he's Western. That's more Western than Japan. This is one of the high-profile human beings in the history of the world to be assassinated. I can't believe it, to be honest. No security. What the hell? And you don't think conspiracies are going to grow on this? How is it even possible that this happened? One of the most, how is it possible, Jay? Remember? Donald Trump, one of the greatest liars who ever lived. He's in Alaska. Did you see him talking about salmon? Did you see any of those politicians talking about the salmon collapse and the fact that Russia says we're taking Alaska back? Did Trump say that on the stump yesterday? Trump doesn't say shit. He's got everybody conned to thinking he's a counterculturist when he's part of the team. He was in Alaska yesterday. Russia's saying we're taking, the correlations go back, same old theme, 1913. The correlations, the Russian Revolution, here we go again. Did you see Trump talking about that Russia says they're taking Alaska back? Maybe they go to Moscow, Idaho. The old Russian Empire. How come no one will touch Fukushima? I can prove all this. I have. Talk about the greatest PhD in human history. When it looked like Putin was going to blow the big Z, headline freaking story, USA Today. This could be Fukushima-style disaster. You all act like you don't know. So the ironies of this are incredible, and John Kennedy's grandson releases photos of he and ABE together, on his 23rd birthday. And, the Fukushima, Caroline knows. Caroline knows. Will she ever talk? Well, her dad talked, and we know what happened. So did her uncle. And I want to say this to the African-American community, the black community. Martin Luther King was a fierce anti-nuclear, and he loved the environment. We need you. And so this assassination at ABE is that big. It is that big. And the ironies of this, write a book. It's like Colette says, Kevin Blanchard write a book, it had to be 10 feet thick. This is a book. So unbelievable, unbelievable. The ironies of this. I'm still JFK blown away. What else do I have to say? ABE blown away. I can't believe that this happened. I really can't believe that this happened. So just remember all this. Nobody wants to report it. Oh, I will. I will. I'm a walking, talking encyclopedia, and it's right out there on YouTube. It's there, and all I can do is keep waiting for you. It's all I can do to keep waiting for you and your greenwashing machine. Not me. I'm not playing in the fairy tale world. I'm not playing in Unicorn SMR, Santa Clausville. I live in the real world. When a doctor looks you right in the eye, says you have 2 months to live, get your affairs in order with AML leukemia, we'll see how you act. See if you go into the real world. Fukushima is the greatest ecological catastrophe in human history. Bar none, full blown out meltdowns. You're afraid of nuclear meltdowns until they happen. Then you just ignore them. See no nuclear energy evil. Hear no nuclear energy evil. See no nuclear energy. See no nuclear energy. Hear no nuclear. The nuclear energy emperor has no fucking clothes. You could not make this up. Incredible story. Absolutely unbelievable. These assassinations are so correlated in so many ways. But remember, ABE was one of the most pro-nukers in the history of the world. JFK is one of the most anti-nukers in the history of the world. So, I don't know how this is going to play out, but, nobody's going to say the F word. No one's going to say the F word. Fukushima. Oh, I am. Stay tuned.